Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and I've been traveling around Central America, and in this video I'm on the beautiful island of Utila. Utila is where I got all my diving certifications. I learnt to scuba dive on the island in 2021, and in 2023 I returned to the island for another few months to live and work here, and I decided to get my first freediving qualification. Freediving is also something that I had wanted to try for a long time, so I was very excited to get started learning this new skill. Good afternoon everybody, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chelsea and I'm doing a freediving course. This is Cassie. We're doing it together. Hope you don't mind being in the video.
No, I don't. I just wasn't a chair.
Yeah, we're doing a freediving course and we're literally on our way. We're doing it at Utila Water Sports. It's like One Breath Freediving with Erin. I can put a link in the description if you want to do it with her. But I've heard that she's very good. So yeah, I'm excited. We're both nervous. We both held our breath this morning for like just over a minute. I think we need a minute and a half to pass the course, so hopefully with all the right techniques we'll be okay. But yeah, I have faith in us. I think we'll be okay. Yeah. I learnt to freedive with One Breath Utila, which is run by Erin, who is so lovely and so passionate about freediving. I went with my friend Cassie, who was visiting for a few weeks, and we were both super excited to get started. The first thing we did when we arrived was meet our instructor Luke. We then filled out all the necessary forms and got straight into the theory. I had decided to do the Molchanovs course, and with this, we got sent some materials to read before the course started, so that we already had a basic knowledge of the science of freediving when we arrived. But Luke went into a lot more detail and showed us proper techniques for things like breathing before a dive, how to relax before a dive, warming up, and proper techniques for equalizing during freediving. If you don't know, equalizing is when you pop your ears whilst diving. You might have experienced this feeling on an aeroplane or a train going through a tunnel when you pinch your nose and blow. There are actually two ways to equalize, and you can only use one of these techniques in freediving, so we learned how to do the correct technique. We also learned about the changes your body goes through while swimming deeper. Like at 10 meters, your lungs are half the volume they are on the surface. At 20 meters, your lungs have 1/3 of the volume of gas, and at 30 meters, they have 1/4 of the volume of gas, and so on. A lot of the science was of course the same or similar as in scuba diving, so it was easy for me to understand a lot of the science of freediving as I have done a lot of scuba diving in the past, but some of the freediving specifics were really fascinating. For example, when you hold your breath, the urge you feel to breathe isn't actually your body needing more oxygen, it's the carbon dioxide building up that causes this feeling. One of the most interesting things I learned about on this course was the mammalian dive reflex. We have receptors in our skin that know when your face is immersed in water. Once these receptors register the water, it actually allows us to hold our breath for longer than if our face wasn't immersed. This meant that when it came to me and Cassie doing our breath holds, we found it a lot easier to meet the minimum requirements for the course breath hold, compared to when we were practicing before starting the course because we did it with our faces immersed in water. My first breath hold of the course was around 1 minute 50, and I asked to do it again just to see if I could pass the 2-minute mark. And the second time, I held my breath for around 2 minutes and 10 seconds. After the course, I did actually practice this again and managed to hold my breath for 2 minutes out of water, which shows that all the practice during the course had increased my breath hold ability by almost 100%. If you want to practice your breath hold at home, please do not do it in the water without another person present, but you can do it on your own out of the water. Okay, so let's go diving. This was day 1 of actually practicing all the skills we learnt from the theory. We started by taking in 1 full breath. Unfortunately, I don't have this on film from when we were out in the ocean, but you would take in a deep breath using your diaphragm so that your belly expands. Then, once you finish taking in the air with your diaphragm, you fill up the rest of your lungs by breathing into your chest so that your chest expands. We started ascending feet first to get used to the feeling of holding our breath underwater. When you're freediving, you want to make as few movements as possible to maintain your energy, which will allow you to hold your breath for longer. Before a dive, you would lay flat on the surface and relax as much as possible by performing a body scan. Clear your mind, breathe normally. This means no hyperventilating, as this could lead to blackouts as it tricks your body into thinking that it can hold its breath for longer than it should. This relaxing can take some people even a few minutes. For me, I always struggle with meditation, so I would sing a song in my head to calm me down. Honestly, I struggled to do this part for a long time because as soon as I regained my breath, I felt like I was just as ready as I was ever going to be, so I would just go for the dive, probably earlier than I should have, as the instructor often told me that I could have spent longer on the surface. Maybe this is something I need to work on if I ever do the Wave 2 course. So after we were comfortable going down feet first, we moved on to diving head first, using only our arms to pull us down on the rope. And then finally, when the instructor said that we were ready, we would move on to kicking only on the way up, then eventually kicking to go both down and back up to the surface. With freediving, you are positively buoyant for around the first 10 meters, which would mean that during the first 10 meters of the dive, you will use the most energy. Positively buoyant means that the weight of the object or the person weighs less than the water that it displaces, meaning that if you stop kicking down, you would just float back up to the surface. Between roughly 10 to 20 meters, you become neutrally buoyant, which means that if you stopped kicking, you would just float at the same depth. You wouldn't go up or down too much. Finally, deeper than around 20 meters, you start to become negatively buoyant, which means that even if you stopped kicking, you would continue to sink. It's such a strange feeling going down, as you can really start to feel like you need to breathe, but you have to push past it. The instructor said that once you feel like you need to stop and go back up, pause, count to 3, and then go up. It's weird because going down you start to feel like you urgently need to breathe. However, as you go back up and your lungs start to increase back to their normal volume, you start to wonder why you felt like you needed to breathe so urgently and like you could have gone for a lot longer. Also, as you're coming up, once you get to around 10 meters, they tell you to stop kicking or pulling with your arms and let the positive buoyancy bring you back up to the surface. And I actually really liked the feeling of being brought back up to the surface by the ocean. I managed to descend to the deepest depth that we were allowed to go to on day 1, which was 12 meters. Here you can see me getting to the end of the line, and honestly, I was so shocked that I managed to do this on day 1, and I was so happy with myself. But I even felt like I could have gone deeper. After every single dive, before we were allowed to even comment on how we did or anything, we needed to complete our recovery breaths, which was 3 breaths breathing in and exhaling the air sharply. Even if we messed up the dive and only went down 1 meter, the instructor still made us do this to get into a good habit of doing it every single time we resurfaced so that we would never forget. You let all the remaining air out before taking in a deep breath, and then exhale approximately half the air that you took in with a slight resistance before repeating this a minimum of 3 times or until you feel better. You do these breaths to get more oxygen into your blood quickly and to remove the carbon dioxide. After doing the practice dives on the line, we moved to another dive site to enjoy the reef. Freediving was such a different experience to scuba diving when looking at the fish on the reef, because as obvious as it sounds, not blowing bubbles at all the fish, I felt like they were less scared of me and I could get closer to the fish without them swimming away. It sounds so cheesy, but you really do feel a lot more connected to the fish in the ocean during freediving in comparison to scuba diving.
Hey, we had our first freediving dive this morning. I didn't say anything before the dive, honestly, I just forgot. But we met at 7:30, got all the equipment ready, went out on the boat and then went down. Like the first couple of times that we went down, I don't know how far I went, and maybe like a couple of meters and then like halfway and then almost to the bottom of the line. The bottom of the line was 12 meters. And they were giving me great feedback. They were saying that my technique was very good and that I looked professional. I was like, okay, that feels good to hear. And then I made it to the bottom of the line, which feels amazing when you hit the weights. And like, I felt like I could have gone further, but I don't know how much. Probably not a lot, but yeah, it was good. It wasn't, I think, as scary as I had imagined that it would be. But it was, yeah, really good. I got very tired there and I just didn't want to keep going, and then they just kept making me go down. But we did 2 different techniques. I think I have videos of both of them. So like one where we're like pulling ourselves, and then I did one like pulling myself down and then kicking up, and then I kicked down, kicked back up. And then we did some duck dives at the ends for like a bit of a fun dive. So like we learned how to go down without the buoy, and the line, like the float on the top, if you don't know what that is. And yeah, that was, I think, a bit harder. I feel like I couldn't like go as deep when I wasn't with the line. I mean, there wasn't anywhere to go with the coral, but I feel like I wouldn't have been able to go much further. But then also like seeing the fish down there and like wanting to follow the fish, I felt like I stayed down there longer than I would have normally, like without the fish there, because like I want to see the fish. And actually I really liked how it felt to see the fish like without the bubbles and without the big tank, and just yeah, you feel more connected to it. So I really liked how that felt. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself today, making it down to 12 meters on my first day. And yeah, tomorrow we have the option to go down to as much as 21 meters. I definitely don't think I'll make it down to 21 because that's really far, and I don't think I could go much further than 12, but like maybe 15. I'll be very happy if I make it past 12 tomorrow. Might wear my dad's computer so I can have a peek at how deep I'm going, but yeah, this afternoon we have the like theory in the classroom again. But yeah, at the moment we're at the Pink Flamingo. It's just opened like a week ago. Really like it. So we're just getting some lunch here. I'm getting like an avocado bagel and an iced latte. You're not allowed to drink coffee before freediving. Well, you can, but you're not supposed to because I guess it increases your heart rate and it doesn't keep you as calm. But yeah, we also didn't have much breakfast this morning, but I'm surprisingly not hungry, which is interesting. Oh my god, I think I can see my food coming.
Day 2, we learnt to duck dive. You would hold your breath, remove your snorkel and equalize once at the surface. Kick maybe twice, and then bend your body at the hips and lift one leg in the air so that you start to sink. Do an arm pull, which is a keyhole movement, so like a breaststroke into pushing down. Once you're fully immersed, then you can start kicking down and begin your dive. On day 2, the line was a maximum of 21 meters, and I managed to swim down to 14 meters. This is the only video that I actually took on day 2, and as you can see, I was very disorientated at the start of the descent. As students on the course at One Breath Utila, we were able to attend some yoga sessions during the course for free. We only managed to get to one session during the course as we were so tired, but it was sunset yoga on a rooftop and it was absolutely beautiful taking part in the class looking over the ocean at sunset.
Okay, little update after day 2 of freediving. I'm horrible at remembering to take videos. I was very distracted today. We only did like a couple of actual dives where we tried to get deep. And then it was more just like learning skills, like learning how to duck dive properly, learning the, what is it called? Safety, rescue, no, not rescue diver, what is, safety diver, is that what they call it? Yeah, basically if someone like blacks out in the last 10 meters, then you have to go down and save them. I mean, you meet them there's a whole thing to it, but yeah, basically just learning what to do if someone blacks out and like how to get them back. But it's very easy to do. What else did we do? Oh, and then we went over to like a shallow part and did our like you have to do a 30-minute like horizontal swim underwater, obviously holding your breath to pass. So that was 30 meters. It wasn't difficult, but it was difficult. Like I felt like if it was much further I probably would have given up, even though he said I reckon you could do another length. I was like, absolutely not. And then we held our breath. I did it twice. You have to hold your breath for 1.5 minutes, and I held it for 1 minute and 47 seconds the first time, and then 2 minutes and 8 seconds the second time. So I'm happy with that, because the first time I honestly thought I failed that, because I came up and he was like, how do you think you did? And I just looked at him like, not good. But I was just like singing songs in my head, picturing playing with dogs. Cassie was picturing her cat to do it. Cassie also got about 2 minutes as well. So yeah, we both did I think, quite well with that. I'm very happy that I can hold my breath for 2 minutes. And then today, I think my deepest dive was 14 meters, which again, I'm very happy with. So, successful day. And then we have our fun dives tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try and push myself to like 15 or 16 meters. If I can get to 21, that would be amazing, but I really am not gonna push myself. Well, I'll try and push myself, but I don't think I will. But we'll see, because we'll have a few more attempts today. Like really today we only had like 4 or 5 attempts actually going deep. I'm out of breath walking up this hill. Oh, okay, yes. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Day 3 was a day for fun dives only. We started on the line and I managed to get to a depth of 16.4 meters. I was surprised that I had made it that deep, as it only felt like I was around 10 to 12 meters. I had some issues equalizing today, so once I hit the 16 meters, which was my goal for the day, I got back on the boat and I waited for the fun dives on the reef. I felt like another day I could have gone deeper and pushed myself, but because of the issues with my ears, I didn't want to cause any injury, so I called it a day. We then went and enjoyed the reef, swimming through these little passes, swimming down to the sand at the bottom, looking at the fish. I think the deepest that I went on the reef today was somewhere between 7 to 10 meters. I saw an angelfish up close, which was amazing as I was able to get so much closer to it than I ever have scuba diving. I saw a flounder buried in the sand, and again I managed to get so close to it. I really noticed a huge difference diving on the reef, free diving compared to scuba diving. Of course, in scuba diving I can go a lot deeper and for a lot longer, but deeper doesn't always mean better, and I know that at some point I definitely want to push myself further with free diving and complete my wave 2, and maybe even become a master freediver one day. I completed the Wave 1 Molchanovs course, and to pass this course you have to meet all the requirements, which are 1 minute 30 static breath hold, so holding your breath for over a minute and a half whilst remaining still, 30 meters horizontal swim underwater, diving to a depth of more than 12 meters. To be able to even start the course, you have to be able to swim 200 meters. If you want to learn to freedive, I highly recommend learning with One Breath Utila. Erin, who owns the shop, is currently taking a break from the island, but I would highly recommend learning with her when she's back. She said that she's planning to work at the shop seasonally from December to February for a few years. If you are planning to dive there, I would suggest sending a message to the Instagram account for One Breath Utila, which I will link below, and check with her when she will be back on the island. So that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I've inspired you to try freediving. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss future videos, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be more of my adventures in Utila. Bye!